Well, obviously, very, very proud of our guys to be able to go into a pretty hostile environment with all the chips kind of against us, coming off a pretty hurtful loss against Denver. It was a great way for the boys to respond and be able to get 3 points on the road against a very good Grand Canyon side.
Why do we set up rows? Matt's really close to
It's just an awful first question of the presser right there.
That's
yeah.
not the worst. I can go lower if you want me to.
Yeah, GCU, like, you guys were walking into like a hornet's nest, right? Because their environment's really unique.
Yeah.
And they score a lot of goals too. So it was almost like a really bad matchup for you guys the way you were playing because you guys had conceded a bunch and it was a tough environment. Like, how did you manage to play like 90 minutes of clean football defensively?
Yeah, it's funny you bring up 90 minutes. One of our points of emphasis in that match was to take the match minute by minute. Don't look at it as, first half or second half. We're looking at it as literally minute by minute. And so, especially after we went up 1-0, our emphasis was still, all right, now let's look at it 31st minute, 32nd minute, 33rd minute, so on and so forth until we hit 90. And so, I commend the guys for having great focus. And as we knew, Grand Canyon was still going to get their opportunities. Like you mentioned, they're a high-octane type of team with a lot of firepower up top. Really, really pleased with our guys being able to keep the clean sheet.
What did you think of Reed and O'Neal in particular? Because I mean, they're number 9. I think he came in 5th in the country in goals scored. He was dangerous. How did Reed and early and especially O'Neal late kind of?
Yeah, no, I think there was a couple of guys that they had to contend with, including their left winger as well. But yeah, no, I thought our back line was solid. I thought they did a very good job at covering for one another. And then on the individual aspect of defending, between Mark and Reed and Savage on the left side, I thought they were all pretty solid on the 1v1 defending. And Tulsa's no slouch. They also have a lot of dynamic attackers. And so we're going to have our best day against those guys on Saturday as well.
How did you think Blake was able to stay confident and make the saves he made against GCU? I imagine for a keeper watching the ball go in the back of the net as much as you guys have seen, like that could probably shake you a bit. But it seemed like every time you needed him to step up and make a spectacular play, he did it.
Overall, I think mentally we're in a pretty good place as a group. I think the guys are aware of how good they are and they're aware of their talents. And they understand that there's a couple of results that maybe didn't go our way. But nonetheless, I think the guys are in a good mental space where not only do they believe in themselves, but they believe in each other. And I think, you could see that throughout the field when you're looking at each position. But as you're asking about Blake, I think he's got confidence in the people in front of him. And he understands that the people in front of him have confidence in him. And I think it plays off of one another. And so he had some very key saves in the first half, in particular early on in the match, where, maybe that tide goes a little bit, might go a different way if he doesn't make those initial saves. So, I thought he did well on the night, and we're expecting some of the same play from him come Saturday night against Tulsa.
The Tulsa match aside, I know they're going to be a really stiff challenge. They usually always are, right? But, it's your cancer awareness night as well, and obviously the video report is kind of a reminder of the horrors of that disease. Like, is there more to this match than just Creighton versus Tulsa?
Oh, well, obviously cancer is an awful thing, and I think you'd be hard-pressed to go through a room and find somebody that hasn't been affected on a personal level by it. And so I think it's for a great cause, and even within our program, with the passing of Matt Menlick, who was a former teammate of mine recently, and Byron Dacey, a player that we coached here at men's soccer, lost his baby, he and his family's baby. And so, no, I think it's a reminder that even though we're doing what we love in regards to sport, life is larger than that. And if you're able to utilize one of our matches for awareness, I think it's a good calling to be able to do that. And so, I look forward to it.
Now, you guys use your platform to, kind of galvanize the community around causes, several times throughout the year. Even in the spring, you guys do it. Is that some of your? Is it? I mean, I imagine you would not like to do it because it exists, but is it one of the things that you appreciate the most about the position you're in, that you get to kind of bring the community together for, for soccer, for fun, but also for, things that are, pretty important in people's lives that create adversity?
Yeah, no, I think when you look at our programs in Creighton Athletics, we have a responsibility to be able to bring some of these issues to light, and we have a responsibility to bridge the gap between our university and our community. Whether we like it or not, we are in a privileged position. And so we have to take responsibility in being able to help our community in some of these ways, as we are in a privileged position. So we don't see it as something that we have to do. We don't see it as something that we should do. It's the right thing to do. With being in the position that we're in it within our community, it's the least that we can do to be able to give back and bridge the gap between our university and our community.
Got time for one more question.
I mean, just thoughts on Tulsa so far. Obviously, I think they're a little bit underwater right now, but they're always a tough side. Like, what kind of match you're going to get stylistically. What are you anticipating on Saturday? Which you might get a really desperate team.
Regardless of what the record might show, we've experienced Tulsa many times. Sometimes in the NCAA tournament. Most recently, in the NCAA tournament, and other times in just the regular non-con. So, and it's always the same. It's a battle. They're well coached. They have high octane attacking, and so it should be a fun match. I think it'll be two matches that will be going after the win. You won't find teams that are sitting in and seeing what happens. And so I look forward to that. I've known Tom, their coach, for a long time and played against him many times. And we've always talked about how our matches seem to be matches that set off fireworks, right? And so we're looking forward to it. Obviously the intent is to try and go on a run a little bit, which we lacked last year. And what better way to start a run than being able to get a big 3 points down at Grand Canyon and be able to come home now and be at home for a couple of weeks against some tremendous talent in Tulsa and Georgetown.
Thank you, sir.
Cool.
Appreciate you.